White House economic advisor Gary Cohn just admitted something that he probably shouldn't have. That the GOP tax cuts that the Republicans are pushing, who they claim will help the middle class, will actually massively benefit the rich. And he's not hiding it. Now, this happened during an interview with John Harwood. Now, he said that, quote, when you take a corporate tax rate and move it to 20% from 35%, and you see what's happened over the last 2 decades to businesses migrating out of the United States, migrating profits out of the United States, migrating their domiciles out of the United States, and hiring workers out of the United States, it's hard for me to imagine, it's hard for me to not imagine that they're not going to bring businesses back to the United States. So he's going through and arguing, hey man, look, we've got to lower the corporate tax rate because all these businesses are leaving. They're hiding their money overseas. It's a classic, oh, well, you know, our billionaires, our corporations, which are the richest in the world, they're not rich enough. So we've got to do even more because, you know, what's going to stop them from going to these low tax, low wage countries so they can exploit workers and friendly tax laws so they can get even richer and create more income inequality. It's that classic argument, right? Now he continues, we create wage inflation, which means the workers get paid more, the workers have more disposable income, and the workers spend more. But that's actually not what happens. He says, and we see the whole trickle down through the economy, and that's good for the economy. So right there, he's like, yeah, no, trickle down, I love it. We give tax cuts to the rich, and it trickles down onto you. You get more wages, your wage gets inflated, and you spend more, you know, and it also, it's this virtuous cycle that all starts from giving the rich more and more tax cuts that will trickle down in your head. Except, here's the thing, we've been doing that already. We've actually done that since Reagan. We should have had a gigantic boom. We should have had a gigantic boom when George W. Bush did that. What happened? We actually had stagnation. We actually had less wealth, at least for the bottom 90%. But we've had huge wage growth for the top 0.1% that have gotten even richer. So there's this bit of a problem with trickle down. See, it ends up not trickling down. It ends up being hoarded. And that's the problem. You got to look up the velocity of money. And when you give the rich more tax cuts, the velocity of that money stops to zero. It immediately hits the brakes because they don't have anything more to spend it on. They'll just save. Now, so again, give the rich more tax cuts, it'll trickle down. Now, here's the thing, right? Under this plan, the tax plan that he's pushing, the middle class will actually see some tax raises while the rich will make off like bandits. Now, earlier, he said, hey, look, this is a tax cut for the middle class, which has been proven to not be true. And also, no tax cuts will happen on the rich. Now, later on, he says, you know what? That's actually not true. They actually stopped pushing that no tax cuts for the rich thing. Harwood asked him, you're not saying, as you did a few weeks ago, that the wealthy do not get a tax cut under your plan. He said, no, I'm saying there are unique situations to everyone out there. Everyone has their own story. It's not our intention to give the wealthy a tax cut. Harwood pressed him by saying, but they're getting one. Cohn replies, I don't believe that we set out to create a tax cut for the wealthy. If someone's getting a tax cut, I'm not upset that they're getting a tax cut. I'm really not upset. So I don't believe that we set out to create a tax cut for the rich, but if we just happen to give them a tax cut, well, oops, oh well, I'm not really all that upset. Guess we can't take that tax cut back. Oh well, I guess you can just keep all that money. Again, this plan, some members of the middle class will end up paying more taxes, will pay higher taxes. And this is people who are between 20 to 70,000 a year, middle class, okay, and some in the working class. Yet, under all circumstances, all wealthy people will get a gigantic cut. Multinational corporations will get a gigantic cut. This is not an accident They absolutely came out to cut taxes for the rich. This was not a mistake. In fact, I have a statement for you on this that shows you exactly who benefits and who knows they're going to benefit from this tax cut. Watch.
You, I imagine, are the point person in the White House for big CEOs because you come from their world, they know you. What are you hearing from them right now?
The most excited group out there are big CEOs about our tax plan. They all tell me how excited they are to get a tax plan that makes the United States competitive, makes it so they can grow their business domestically, makes it so they can actually pay wages here.
Oh, see, the CEOs are super, super excited. Of course, not for any of the reasons that he had actually said. That's of course, the cover reasons. They say, oh, no, we're going to create jobs. Really, again, what happened when we cut taxes, when we had the tax holiday, for example, when they brought all that money back from overseas, what happened? Stock buybacks, executive bonuses. That's what happened. They actually cut jobs. A lot of these companies eliminated jobs after they got these gigantic tax cuts. So it's all bullcrap. I mean, they're not looking at this tax cut and saying, oh boy, I can't wait to help those middle class people at the expense of our shareholders. No, that's not what they're doing. And here's the thing, right? Cohn is so brazen about this plan. He's not even hiding it anymore. And it's because they're very, very sure that they're going to pass this through. And look, he might be right. They might actually end up getting this through without much of a problem. Now, there's a lot of people, like regular people, they're not going to be able to stop it, right? This isn't like the ACA fight. It's actually easier to sell people on lopsided tax cuts than it is to take away their health insurance. So because of this, you've got a lot of Republicans out there that are incredibly overconfident, but not without reason. That's why Cohn is now pretty much, for the most part, dropping the pretense and saying, yeah, this does exactly what we wanted to do, to give a giant tax cuts to ourselves and to our donors. That's what it's all about, folks. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.